What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This week it's time to finally get back on the 72 Ford build. We are really excited. Some big things are going to happen this week. We're going to get this engine sat in. Clark's getting it moved over so we can get it put in. In the last episode, you guys seen that I got the interior finished up on my wife's first gen. We did that nice black and purple diamond pleat fabric on the door panels. We got the headliner put in. We got all the trim and stuff painted out of the donor truck and installed. So her truck is pretty well buttoned up for the first time in 5 years. So we're pretty excited about that. It's raining out here, so we ain't gonna spend any kind of serious amount of time out here. But I'm gonna show you real quick what I've got built up here. Okay, so here is the old truck. This is what we called project failure. So we have got the crossmember here. This is a 6.0 chassis is what this thing's sitting on. So I have made this template, as you can see here. It's pretty close. I've got my holes marked with some lines right there. And this is just a nice template of what the crossmember shape and everything looks like. So then we're gonna take it inside, sit it in our chassis in there, and see how well it matches up. Okay guys, so we're back inside. And as you see, this actually, we really aren't too far off. We've got a little bit of a gap over there, and we've got a pretty good sized gap over here, but that's okay. But this crossmember is really close to being right. Now, I don't know how much modifications we're gonna have to do to make this work. I don't know if the front and back placement of this crossmember is right. I don't really know much of anything just yet. So right now, Clark's getting the transfer case taken off. We're gonna get the transfer case out of our way so we just so we don't have to fight it trying to get it in. Then we're gonna go ahead and pop the motor mounts off the side of the engine just to give us a little bit more clearance, a little bit more free play, a little bit more room to get everything in there and see where we like it. And then we're gonna test fit this thing. We're pretty sure this floor right here is gonna really be a problem because the way this tunnel is offset to the left side, we're pretty confident that this over here is gonna be a problem. If that's okay, we come in, hack it through here, cut it down through there, modify it. We're also going to go ahead and take the down pipe off. Well, actually, they've already got it off, my bad. I don't know that it was going to give us any issues or not, but we can worry about the down pipe and stuff later. We've considered, you know, if the down pipe has to come over top of the valve cover and come out the outside of the frame, then we can make that work. We got a few different things that we can make work, so that's all we got so far. Let's go ahead and get this engine sat in and see how it looks. All right, so to try and get some more clearance, we're gonna take the up pipes off the back of the engine really quick. They're hitting the wiper cowl and the pinch weld across the wiper cowl, so we're gonna get them off, see if that don't help us get this thing in there a little better. Go down with it. Hold up. Our valve covers all over this area. Yeah.
Bell holding. The motor's going to have to come forward.
Really?
Yeah, see our valve covers in the pinch weld right here.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first bit of modifications that are going to have to be made. Well, it's in there. We ended up taking the front of the cab loose, jacking it up, and putting some 4x4s under here. That gave us enough room to get that clearanced in there. I think everything will fit fine once it's down, but I'm just trying to see here. Yeah, so I'm with you, Clark. I think you mentioned it earlier. We're going to have to notch this cross member so that the oil pan can come forward. We're really close. We are going to take the engine back out, and we are going to notch the cross member right down here. The oil pan is hitting right on the back side. We're gonna notch this thing forward about probably gonna go a little extra, go about 3 inches. We have measured as far as where our radiator goes and how much room we've got here. We can spare to come forward 3 inches really, and probably a little more, and have no issues at all. If we come forward about 2 inches, that's going to get us enough room for our up pipes, maybe even our down pipe. We might even be able to squeeze a down pipe back there with no troubles. So we're going to get this thing taken out again really quick, notch that cross member, sit it back in, see how it looks. Alright guys, Clark got the piece cut out, and we ended up going 3.5 inches how much we notched this, so we'll plate this back in if this ends up working. We're going to go ahead and sit the engine transmission in again and see how it fits this time. We've got quite a bit of confidence it's going to fit pretty well this time, we hope. So let's give it a shot. Well, unfortunately, the audio did not work good on this video. So here what I'm saying is we've got the engine and stuff sat back in. We've got the engine scooted over towards the passenger side because the rear diff is offset to the passenger side. So this engine was sitting in the 6.0 chassis offset, so we're going to offset it in this chassis also. So on this side, we've got it lined up pretty good. It's sitting on the factory cross member real nicely. You've got a small gap down here at the bottom that we need to adjust, but no big deal there. We can take care of that. Then if you come to this other side, you can see that we don't have room for a motor mount. The cross member is just a little too narrow. So we have got a line made. We're going to actually cut that cross member out, take the whole top of it off, and then that should give us enough room for a motor mount and stuff like that. But we'll worry about plating it back in once we get it cut out. First things first, we got to get this cut out so that we can get a plate made, and then we will set everything back in so we can try to mock up how the motor mount and stuff is going to work. Okay, so Clark got this cut out for us, and we've determined we need to trim it down about that much, we think. But what we've got here is, let me put this in here kind of like this, and it'll be able to, we're then gonna hopefully set the motor in and determine where this piece needs to be. So if we aren't quite right and we need to go down some, hopefully be able to set it in, tack weld it, and then trim this cross member down to it. And then we'll start rebuilding this. But we're going to start with this plate first. Alright, we're going to set this engine back in. We've got our plate made up to go in here. Kind of like so. Making a number kind of like that. And then We've got our holes drilled here for the top mount. This one's here, it's really close to the edge. We're gonna have to do something about that, but we'll fix that. We're gonna set this engine back in here real quick. Okay, so we got the engine sat back in, and this is gonna work really well. So we'll bring this plate in here like this, just like that. And then we'll come in, weld that in place, mark our holes, put that back in, finish boxing the cross member back in, and this thing will be moving along really well. And it works good. All right, guys, so you got your light there, Clark. Just a little, shine us a little light on the subject. Plate made here, we've got it tack welded in place. We've got some bolts in it holding it to the motor mount so that we know everything is exactly where we want it to be. And so now we're gonna take these bolts out. Now that it's tacked, we're gonna lift this motor back out. We're gonna go ahead and start final mock-up build stage of the crossmember. We're gonna go ahead and box it in and make it all look nice. So I'm actually leaving to go out of town on vacation, so Clark's going to be your cameraman for the next couple days, or for at least the rest of the day. All right, guys, we're making pretty good progress on this engine crossmember here. Clark has put in quite a bit of really good work, and he ended up using a section of the crossmember, thinned it up, and scooted it back, and then he's made these gussets, and we've boxed it all back in, and this actually turned out really nice. Got all this tacked in place. Our holes are here for our engine mount, and so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get in here and weld this thing up solid. And then we're probably going to sit the engine in and get the transmission crossmember built and just keep moving along on this project. We've still got some front end pieces to make. We got to make the track bar bracket and still get our pinion angle set on the rear end. So we got plenty of work left to do. There you go. We got it sat in. We got it bolted up. We're really happy with how this turned out. We do have one small issue that we have to address. I don't know if you can tell, but we have clearance on the pan, except for this back corner back here. We've got a bump, and it's touching the pan. Other than that, we have clearance all the way across. May not look like it on camera. I can't really get the right angle, but we do. So we have a couple ideas. We're going to try to just hit that corner down with a hammer next time the engine's out. If that don't work, we'll cut it out in clearance if we have to. Another thing we decided we could possibly do is we could take the motor mount off the block, put a small spacer under it just to pick everything up a little bit, and that would be just fine. So, and we have all kinds of room for activities. Clearing our steering shaft. Steering shaft should fit really nicely down to here so we can get the gearbox. We have plenty of room for our up pops back here. Plenty of room for a down pop, we're pretty sure. We actually may, Clark, if you want, we'll grab the down pop and we'll just try to give it a quick test fit. Because we have all kinds of room for activities over here. Up pop will fit great. Down pop will fit good. And Clark actually pointed out, you need to do an IPR, you can just reach around the back of the turbo on the other side and get the IPR out. This thing fits really good. Surprisingly well. So let's grab that down pipe and see how it fits. Oh, I'm one truck off here. There you are.
Out here in the old boneyard.
Yeah, the old boneyard. I don't think it's gonna clear, but that's no big deal. We'll make it work. We can fit a down pop in there.
No, she ain't gonna go.
Yeah.
It'll be close though.
Well, like Clark said, maybe I'll just get a hood stack. We may have to build a down pop, but we can make one fit. Okay, we're gonna move on to the transmission cross member here, I believe. And we may also maybe go rip the 6.0 gearbox off and just start mocking it up on this thing. All right, guys, we are back on the 72 Ford build. Wow, that camera's really close to my face. I need to away some. We are trying to get the gearbox mounted. Clark's already made a little bit of progress this morning. We have a bulb blown up here, so the lighting is really crappy over here. But we'll make do with what we got. So far, Clark has got the tubing that we're going to use to encase the boxing of the frame. We've got this tube and we've got the one on the bottom. The gearbox is technically mounted right now, pretty solid, but he's working on making templates right now to box this in. And we're going to do the same thing over here, and we're going to make a piece that comes down and up, and so that's what we're working on right now. Clark got us this plate dialed in here, boys. He said, don't you dare post that online. All right, so Clark got us a nice plate made out, and here's what we got working so far. So we're gonna plate the frame in with this. It extends down to cover the way our gearbox sits in here, and then we'll weld all this up, plate this in real nice, And then we have the same thing on the outside, similar. Then on the outside, this plate comes in here like this. Fits about like so. And then we will lay a plate across the bottom and like this, and we'll end up boxing it all in real nice. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna get this plate put on, tacked in place, so that I can weld the back side of this tubing solid to this plate. Then we'll put our other tube in that goes in about right here for the gearbox, weld it in solid, and then we'll be able to put the inside plate on. So let's make that happen. Clark's got the steering shaft finished up here. We're done down here. Got just enough clearance between the manifold and the shaft. It's a little tight, but we're gonna roll with it for now. If we have to, we'll put another joint in it and we'll bring it off to the side a little bit, but for now we're gonna leave it alone. Caleb is working on the hydro booster. We took the plate off the hydro boost, as y'all seen there, and he's drilling new holes in the hydro boost plate. And he's drilling new holes in the plate. That way we don't have to modify the firewall. We just modify the plate on the hydro boost and make it match the firewall. So he's working on that right now. I think he's gonna have that done here pretty quick. We have got to sort through our transmission crossmember next, I believe. And that is gonna be just a little bit interesting, but we're gonna start on that now.
We still gonna cut it at the flat spot here.
Yep.
I'd cut it somewhere about right there. Gives us enough meat on both sides.
You could pump, yep. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's do that. You got something down here to mark with still?
Probably not. I don't know where the gold one got off to. Had it yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Hey, it's right there. You got something to... Nothing yet? I wonder if that's a factory edge, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Work or not, because it's unfortunately technically should be close. but I don't think so. Cut it straight. I think it's close. He's already got the angle grinder ready for you to go. My GoPro's a little MIA right now, so I'm using my phone. So just want to update everybody. We're on the 72 here. We're building. Clark's got the transmission crossmember fairly built, and it's looking really good. So I want to show you guys what we got so far. So the original issue we ran into is, let me get a little light on the subject here. So this used to curve up and then come across, and it was right in line with the front drive shaft. So unfortunately, Clark was able to build this with the guy he races with. So what we did was we cut it here, we spun it down so that it would drop, and then Clark built this piece for us at the race shop. And so now Clark's got this spliced together with a smaller piece of pipe in the center, got it tacked up. It's looking really nice. And so that's the way that's gonna be. And it basically looked like that on the other side. And then once we get this all welded up, I'm gonna have Clark build some gussets for this stuff, and we'll probably gusset that one there too. All right, so I got my GoPro back here, guys. So Clark's got everything cleaned up for us here, and we're gonna go ahead and get this stuff mounted up and welded up, and make that happen real quick. That's it for this episode, guys. Y'all want to know something stupid? We accidentally put the rear shocks on the front. We was wondering why they were so big. So we've made pretty good progress in this episode, and we got gearbox mounted, fully fabbed up, bracketry's all done, steering shaft is fully installed, hydro booster and master cylinders mounted. It is a little tight. I do think it will be just fine. And we've also got transmission crossmember finished up, as y'all seen us build. Engine's in there where we want it. Engine mounts are fully done. Got the cross member notched out on this side and in there the way we want it. Need to finish mounting the shock brackets. We need to drill one more hole and put a bolt in the bottom down there. Otherwise, we're coming along pretty nicely. We're making really good progress. We're really close to the point of where we're gonna blow this thing apart and paint the frame, paint the chassis, paint all the differentials and stuff, and put it all back together. At least that's the plan as of now, unless Montana changes his mind. We'll see. I don't think he's going to, but you never know. He's getting excited. We're getting really close. So stay tuned for the next episode. We're gonna get the front clipped on. We're gonna get the radiator in. We're gonna start mocking up the radiator hoses. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna mount our intercooler. We're gonna go water to air intercooler. We're gonna get that thing mounted, maybe mock up some plumbing stuff on it. And then at that point, that's when we're gonna blow it back apart, I believe. And we'll handle wiring and everything when we do final assembly. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys.